I'm Dr. J.J. Hurtak. I'm here with Desiree and our team here in Eastern Australia, at a very fantastic place. Pioneers in the 19th century looking for gold saw to set in motion a series of terraformed layers, of which we see to my left a small arrangement of stones remaining from much larger elevations. This practice, as we have found in our work in North America and Central America, with this called the mound builders, is not unusual. Those in quest of precious stones, gold and silver, would often be drawn to places of what is called an energy vortex, where the energy grid lines on the surface of the earth, or the telluric energy field surrounding a particular place, would give a sense of exuberation. Hence, a series of terraformed formations was set aside, as we see here in the so-called Pyramid of Gympie, which is more of a mountainside that's been terraformed rather than a mountain in the Egyptian sense of the word. But clearly, even after 150 some years, we can still feel a great vibration, a great resonance here, and presumably this was a holy place for the indigenous people here thousands of years before. We stand here next to this smaller formation of stones because we know the larger were taken to build various buildings and church foundations in some of the centers along the coast.
Correct. So many of these stones probably are missing, but there's layers and layers of terraces that go up the hill, not unlike what you find in North America connected with the mound builders. The question is, who built it and how old is it? And it seems that it may be quite old. It could be thousands of years old. This is very interesting. Many people don't understand that the Aboriginal peoples living here would have built such a structure, but perhaps they did. Perhaps their culture recognized the need for not only the terraces for agriculture, or also a ceremonial center. This is the real question. There's a good possibility, as many legends say, that wherever there was gold, that ancient peoples, even before the flood, would come to those areas where gold was abundant, and gold was abundant in this area, to actually be able to get and extract the gold. So we're not talking about the gold rush of 100 or 150 years ago. We're talking about a gold rush that may have taken place 10,000 or 15,000 years ago.
Yes, many writers, contemporary writers, like a researcher by the name of Green, has written extensively about this area, but having been in most parts of the world where we are working with a grid map of major energy points, what could also be called vortex points of resonance, it is clear here that this was a massive undertaking. It's important to know there were other researchers like Rex Gilroy, who in 1975 happened upon some very unusual combinations of what we will call the mound builders, suggesting that this was a massive area conforming to what aerial photographs showed much earlier, in earlier decades, of a massive pyramidal site that was in this location. Obviously, it's important for our work because later one of a statuary form, similar to what the Egyptians called Thoth, we call Tehuti, and the work of Enoch was also located at this location.
And although some people look at the statue as being something like an ape form, it is a very unusual face. And of course, the one who came from Egypt perhaps helped to initiate some of these areas. It's a fantastic mound. And what's interesting is that many people, like in the North American continent for the mound builders, find these places not significant, but they are. They're usually built over vortex points. There's even a cave system here that's been closed now. And just the basics of how the step function works, like you find in Mexico or other pyramidal
With the
structures.
step pyramids.
Yes.
Tehuti or Toth is also recognized in relationship to Enoch in terms of setting the weights and measures for these massive pyramidal locations. So it could very well have been that Egyptian navigators may have come to this side of the Australian continent. We know from friends of ours with the American Navy who did diving off the coast of Okinawa that Egyptian artifacts were found in the 1940s and 50s, bluish stones that were made in Egypt, suggesting that the Phoenician navigational fleets had come to the area of Japan, the islands of the South Pacific, and of course Australia along the coast. There have been, shall we say, other indications that there are underground labyrinthian systems here yet to be explored. And so we're saying to you of the Academy throughout the world, if you have a background in geology, archaeology, remote sensing, come to Australia, work with us. We will show you the grid points that are part of this massive map, this grid map connected with the return of the dove. This is a fantastic area of energy, and we're privileged with our team here on the eastern side of Australia to begin the next phase of connecting the energy spots of Yonaguni, of northern Philippines. These areas may of course be disrupted by climate change with the rising of the oceans, and so we have a very short time window to locate these other locations and connect, as it were, the migratory relationships and the naval arrangements in ancient history that brought, obviously, pioneers to this part of the world. We send light, love, and wisdom to you as we say, may peace prevail on earth and in the heavens. May peace prevail on the return of the dove here in Australia. Salutations.